This is going to be a long one, so spoiler warning for everyone who wants to experience this train wreck firsthand by duct taping themselves to the front of the engine. 3, 2, 1. Let's start with the positives, because credit where credit's due. The practical effects do look great, the CGI in most cases is damn good, and while I dislike the entire scene, I do at least like the sentiment that Luke is the one who lifts his own X-Wing out of the water. This is where my praise ends, though, and I don't envy the task that Jar Jar Abrams had to tackle here. He had to simultaneously make a good movie to save what little credibility Star Wars has, and fix the issues created by The Last Jedi. And he executes this with all the success of a suicide bomber with premature detonation. There are so many issues with this movie, it's like trying to sort out your bipolar ex's mental problems. The film tries to be this middle finger to Rian Johnson and win over the audience, but can't stop trying to subvert your expectations. For example, Palpatine is alive. The guy who Vader turned into a Muppet then threw into the reactor of the Death Star, which then exploded. You may be wondering, how did he survive? To which my response is, don't hold your breath because I'm sure we'll see the second coming of Christ before we get that answer. It's not just that, apparently the aluminum Falcon can hyper-skip without having to plot a course or take time to charge up to do so. Oh, and TIE fighters apparently can do the same thing. These examples are 10 minutes into the movie, and there are 2 more hours of the same nonsense to suffer through. Oh look, the Falcon crashed and is inoperable. Kidding, it's fixed. Watch out, it's the Knights of Ren. We've dreaded them for 2 movies. Nah, never mind, they just got Yamcha'd. Oh no, our meager force of ships held together with wood glue and shoelaces are outnumbered, and we can't possibly win. Oh wait, half the galaxy magically appeared out of nowhere. And speaking of hyper-skipping, this film moves at the pace of electrons dancing in plasma. The plot moves the characters between worlds like Mario, going from a desert planet to a forest planet to a jungle planet, back to another desert planet, and even down into underground tunnels where you can find Jimmy Hoffa. All of this for a MacGuffin, so they can find another MacGuffin, so they can find another fucking planet way out in the space boonies. How did that board meeting go? We need them to reach Exegol. Okay, do you have any suggestions? MacGuffin button? This is perhaps one of the biggest issues since J.J. Abrams has the originality of a printer when it comes to creating story. So this film rips off Star Wars, duh, Indiana Jones, and even Marvel, going so far as to copy Tony's sacrifice from Endgame. Lines included. And the MacGuffin the group seeks is a Sith dagger with Sith writing on it in case you forgot that it was a Sith weapon. Hardly a weapon though, since the blade is as dull as a table leg. At one point, Rey remembers the blade will show the way, or some bullshit like that, and decides the shape of the blade must align with the location. Place your bets here, folks. Do you think the blade points to an ancient city deep under the ocean? Could the blade point to a hideaway in a mountainside? Could it be a long-lost star system as yet unexplored? Well, it turns out it's none of these things, and the blade of the dagger aligns with the wreckage of the Death Star. The wreckage of the Death Star. Character choices and consequences make no sense in this movie. Palpatine wants Kylo to kill Rey so he can possess her body, but I'm pretty sure he needs her alive in order to do that. General Hux has chosen to be a spy for the Resistance because, quote, I don't care if I lose, I only want Kylo to suffer. If that reasoning gave you whiplash from your double take, join the party. Rey is now set on trying to kill Kylo, so why heal him when she beats him? Oh yeah, by the way, the Force is now fundamentally broken. Rey and Kylo can perform the usual Force leaps and pushes, but now Force healing is a thing. Yep, Rey can heal grievous or even fatal wounds by using her Force energy to save others. There's a sandworm at one point in a tunnel that just so happens to block the exit, but is injured and won't move. So Rey taps into her inner white mage, heals the sandworm which leaves, and then they escape with no consequences whatsoever. The film also can't decide on whether or not Finn is Force sensitive. Palpatine can absorb the healing powers out of Rey and Kylo like a Sith Kirby. Kylo can also use the healing ability as well, despite having no clue this power existed until 5 minutes ago. Also, anyone can be a Force ghost, because at one point Han fucking Solo shows up like the dad who reappears after 25 years after leaving to go get milk. And they interact with physical objects too, because why not? In for a penny, in for a pound. Yoda can call down lightning to destroy a tree, so why not Luke catch a lightsaber? And everyone who matters wears thicker plot armor than the entire cast of Game of Thrones Season 8. C-3PO's mind must be wiped out in order to translate the Sith dagger, but the data is restored by R2-D2 anyway at the end of the film. Kylo's interceptor crashes in a way that even Batman couldn't survive, and then it explodes like Dale Earnhardt hit the wall. Doesn't matter to Kylo though, because he lives through this like Indiana Jones flying in the fridge. Chewie is captured and the shuttle he is on is blown up by Rey, who accidentally uses Force lightning. Then it turns out Chewie is on a different shuttle. Kylo is thrown into a pit resembling the entrance to the river Styx, and surely he's dead. Nah, Kylo climbs out of that pit like Lara Croft. Palpatine has announced his return to conquer the galaxy and has a fleet of Star Destroyers equipped with planet-busting weapons, and he is unstoppable. Or the people of the galaxy can Deus Ex Machina an armada out of the air to save the day. And there are so many questions left unanswered. Why do all Force users disappear when they die, but Rey didn't? What possessed Finn to think that stockpiling horses in a transport would be a good idea? How is it that all the Jedi are now in Rey? This isn't Star Wars The Last Airbender? How are there tunnels beneath sand? Even Minecraft and Terraria don't fuck that up. How does Luke's waterlogged X-Wing still fly? Did he seal it with flex tape? Why the fuck does the entire Imperial fleet just sit there and get destroyed without firing back with their planet-destroying cannons? You guys do know that with these weapons you can roll a nat 1 and still win, right? What happened to the hundreds of TIE fighters you had? If your signal tower was destroyed on the flagship, then why not activate the one on the ground that was left alone? Why does the lightning Palpatine is using not destroy hardly any, if any, resistance ships? How does killing Palpatine also destroy every Imperial ship across the galaxy? How many zeros were on the check for Harrison Ford to cameo in this movie? Who am I kidding? It was probably enough to cure cancer. Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is not only a terrible movie, but objectively the worst of the main film series. It is lower on the totem pole than Phantom Menace, Clone Wars, and yes, The Last Jedi. All continuity is thrown out the window. The Force makes less sense than Scientology. Rules don't matter, like summoning the Blue Eyes White Dragon during a game of Uno. The characters are all trash. The writing is atrocious. Trying to follow the logic is like looking for a path of breadcrumbs under a flock of pigeons. Imagine J.J. Abrams is a jihadist and Star Wars is St. Jude's Hospital. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more weekly reviews, and I'll see you in the next video.